So, this last topic is a heavy one, and I don't know how people are going to feel, but I sent the link to everybody. There is a Republican backed bill. I normally wouldn't say this, but that is who's co signing. It's a list of Republicans who are pushing this bill, presenting this bill. It is headed by a senator from North Dakota who's named Kramer. And Senator Kramer wants to push the Unborn Child Support Act. And so there are three key things to this bill. I'm going to read them because the public may not be aware of this bill. I've been asking some people if they're aware, and people are not. So I wanted to see what my co hosts would think about this topic.
Co-host slash public. I'm part of the public too.
What happened?
He said the public don't know. I said, yeah, I'm part of the public.
All right. So the goals of the bill. The Unborn Child Support Act allows a court, in consultation with the mother, to award child support payments while the child is still in the womb and retroactively up to the point of conception as determined by a physician. It also, one, provides flexibility for mothers who do not want involvement of the father by not requiring those mothers to receive child support. Two, requires judges to consult with mothers on payment plans and gives mothers discretion as to whether or not child support payments will be awarded retroactively. And the last thing is it mandates that all paternity tests be at the discretion of the mother and not be conducted if the test would put the child at risk.
At risk of what?
Don't know.
See, I love those sentences. At risk. At risk of what?
Period. There's a period at the end. That's what they put up there.
That's a shame.
So, since I started last each time, I'll start first this time.
Okay.
I think this is a load of bullshit, to speak plainly. Yes, there are financial requirements for anyone who is expecting. You need to get things beforehand. Sure. My main concern, although I have many, my main concern is that they're saying at the end here that getting a paternity test is basically up to the mom. And it's only going to happen if it doesn't put the kid at risk. I don't know if anyone here ever had a paternity test, but normally a paternity test cannot be done until the child is a month old. If you are retroactively paying child support from the quote unquote inception recommended by a physician, you're paying 9 months for a baby that's not yours, and then an additional month just to get the paternity test. That's 10 months of child support on a kid that may not be yours. That is extremely problematic to me. How often does this happen? That people need a paternity test? Pretty fucking often. Ask Maury Povich. I think that is some ridiculous shit. And I think there's a lot to unpack here, but those are my two biggest concerns. I think it's really fucked up that this is another thing being done against men. It does not surprise me that this is the new thing they want to push because of all the things that they are trying to pass to balance out what happened with Roe v. Wade. And so it seems to me that they're saying, oh, there's a group of people trying to salvage the things that have to do with contraceptives and the ability to have an abortion in states and federally. Well, then let's do something to make sure that people are paying literally if they decide to have a baby. And it seems to me that this is coming from a very religious place. The way, if you read the article from Kramer's website that I sent you guys, it seems that their stance is from a religious standpoint. And I don't think that religion should be the reason bills are passed. So that is my other big concern. I don't give a fuck what your religious beliefs are. You cannot impose them on the nation. And so those are my thoughts. You guys can chime in.
I'm glad you brought up Roe v. Wade because one of the points that I was focusing on this was those quotes that came after.
Yeah.
Because every single quote included the line "Life begins at conception."
Yep.
So just considering that this bill particularly is using the idea that life begins at conception to push that is crazy. Like that part alone, just that's wild. And that's just another rollover from like Roe v. Wade getting overturned and all of that happening.
Yeah.
I do believe that if the father doesn't want to give up their rights and child support's going to be a thing, that and there's no dispute over them being the father, then paying some kind of support over the 9 months should be required, just because that prenatal care is ridiculously expensive a lot of the time.
Sure.
So if they're deciding that they do want to keep whatever parental rights, they don't have any doubt that they're the father, yeah, they should definitely be paying for shit during that time. But the way this bill is structured, it's like, well, even if you have doubt, too bad. And, just you have to do it. And regardless of that doubt, regardless of if you want to even keep your parental rights, period. So it just removes that choice from them as well.
Dex, Dre, Days.
Why now?
Roe v. Wade.
Roe v. Wade. This is the perfect time to push something like that.
Overturning Roe v. Wade.
Oh, well, that's always like my question. That's always like my question when I see like there's something that that has been going on for so long, and now all of a sudden they want to change it or they want to alter it. I always say, why now? There has to be more to it. You understand what I'm saying?
It's because of the Roe v. Wade. So Roe v. Wade was overturned, and there's a lot of things that are attempted. There's a lot of things they're trying to do to rebalance the scales. And so I think, and Nestor seems to share the same sentiment, that this is a reactionary bill to those bills that are being presented. I think they're trying to get ahead of it. They're saying, okay, they're going to push things that allow people to have abortions, allow people to have contraceptives, allow people to have gay marriage, because I'm only bringing that up because these are all the things that are intertwined in the Roe v. Wade and the other things that Clarence Thomas is trying to challenge, change, etc. So it seems like they are saying, oh, they're pushing 3 different bills to keep the things that Roe v. Wade affected. Then we're going to get ahead of them and say, okay, do these things then.
Because the language of the bill is pushing the idea that life begins at conception.
Yeah.
So if they're able to like push that idea and make that legislation that it's life begins at conception, hey, we already got bills on the books, we got laws on the books that say, that already say it, then it's going to be easier to dispute like any other arguments against it, because legally it's already in play.
And now an abortion would be killing someone.
Yeah.
That's what that language is telling us. Because if you're saying the moment a baby is conceived, it is a living being, then an abortion would be killing a living being.
Which scientifically
we know is not the case. Yeah.
Yeah, we know scientifically that's not the case, which I think is crazy. Wow.
So
scientifically that's not the case, but they're trying to state that through literature.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is coming from a religious standpoint, clearly. A lot of the quotes in the article are quoting that type of language that Nestor said.
Then that makes it one-sided.
Exactly my point. Chime in, brother. Weigh in. Come on.
Because if we're going based off of one religion, it makes it one-sided.
But that's the best part, is even the religion that they're quoting doesn't believe life begins at conception.
Oh wow.
That's the
The
best part.
hypocrisy is
That's
wow.
the best part of it.
Wow. It's just a walking contradiction. That's crazy.
That's called politics, baby.
Yeah, yeah. A pile of tricks.
That's right.
Um,
X, Dre.
just it's a effective Roe v. Wade. Just a kind of a sign of kind of punishment. You know, you get pregnant. We don't want you to get rid of the baby. We're going to make you carry that baby for 9 months. And if you complain about you don't have money to do it, well, we're going to make sure the father starts from conception paying for it, so you can't complain about it. That's it. It's a punishment. It's their way of trying to punish.
The issue is you can't
Yeah.
afford it. Don't
All right.
worry. Don't
And
worry.
You
You're
can't
good. You
keep
have
that baby
support.
because of that. All right, we're gonna make
Gotcha.
him pay from conception on now. So now you can't say nothing.
No, but now
And,
who's left to bicker though? Like the back and forth, the tug of war now begins between the two people, and once again, higher ups just sit back and just watch how things unfold.
Well, it's the court. The bill is saying that things are at the mother's discretion. That's what I read.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there is no back and forth. It's at the mother's discretion.
Ouch.
Right?
Yeah, I gotta.
It completely boxes the man into a corner.
Well, I gotta.
That's why I
'Cause
didn't say anything.
Whether you have doubt, it doesn't matter because if the mother doesn't want a paternity test, she can say no,
Wow.
and all of that. Just it's the mom's decision whether or not you're going to pay, or whether or not you can test, or whether or not you have that opportunity to opt out.
Wow.
Go ahead, Dre.
Yeah, so I have to agree with Dex. It's a punishment, obviously. It's coming from a perspective where it's punishing women and it's definitely punishing men. And I guess first things first, if it passes, niggas stay out of South Dakota. I know ain't many much of us there, but stay the fuck out of that bitch. Two, I could just think of so many scenarios, and we'll see what kind of backlashes get. But let's say you got some young woman who decides that she's gonna fuck the starting lineup of the fucking football team. Things happen. Now everybody done dripped and dripped. You got to pick one person to say that this is the father. You know what I'm saying? And now you're telling that dude that's like, well, all 18 of us ran up in there. Why are you picking me? Well, you're the captain of the football team, so I'm picking you. You see what I'm saying?
Because you Tom Brady.
And so what that says is that, hey, women, you don't have to be responsible for your bodies. Whatever happens, just indiscriminately choose any guy you've happened to have sex with, or maybe even didn't have sex with, because you could run up to her, you could just pick any dude and be like, we had sex, and the guy's like, no, we didn't. Well, yes, we did, but the court is not going to allow any challenges. So you can just pick whatever random stranger you want and say he's the father. The way this is written, from what you're telling me, there's no challenge because the woman has to challenge it. And so it does go back to this like angelic sense of women, like they only have sex with one guy and they're faithful, and it's bullshit. They're people, and they're going to make choices, and a lot of women choose to be polyamorous and fuck raw, as we all fucking know, and it could be anybody's fucking kid. And it's we make these laws, but I think that sometimes we got to go beyond what a law says and really think about what's right and what's wrong. And as we know, in this society, there are plenty of laws that we know are morally wrong. You know what I'm saying? And so South Dakota, if they pass this, they're going to have more problems.
North Dakota.
Who? North Dakota, I said? Or was it South Dakota or North Dakota?
Yeah, it's North Dakota, but they're trying to push it on a federal level.
Yeah. So if they pass this, they're going to have a lot more problems because, a lot of civil suits or whatever the case might be, because you're not looking for truth. You're looking for convenience. And just by telling this woman, hey, you could choose any guy you want, and then that guy will just have to, because you said it, as if her word is fucking God or something.
Right.
Women are human beings, and some human beings lie, and we're going to have a lot of those kind of problems. This law sounds like it's very, it used to be back in the days, they didn't even really send women to prison. It was like incredibly rare because they didn't think women could do certain crimes. So for decades, women were getting away with fucking murder because they would just be like, I would never do something like that. Oh my God. And killing motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And we had to use what? Science and DNA and shit like that to say, hey, wait a second. This bitch killed this person. You see what I'm saying? Or did whatever wrong things you need to go to jail. And I feel like we're going backwards now, where we're saying, hey, we don't want science to play a role in this. We're just going to go off what
Right.
this woman says, and that's enough. And nothing will be challenged. That's not going to fly. And you're going to have a lot of people, like most laws that are wrong, you're going to have a lot of people fighting those laws and completely disregarding them.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Guys,
I think another
I
thing
gotta get
that's
out of
really
here.
fucked up is
All right.
you got to go.
Yeah, man. I gotta meet my daughter.
All right.
Unfortunately.
All right, man. Thanks again,
Um,
Dex.
Guys, great. This is great.
No, most definitely. My brother.
Yes, sir. Peace.
All right, peace.
All right. And then there were 4.
Mm,
I was saying, I think another thing that's really fucked up is that retroactive part, because if you're telling me, hey, even if I did get the person pregnant, maybe I had no knowledge. There's all type of different factors, and now retroactively means you got to pay from 9 months ago, maybe 10 months ago,
yo,
maybe a year. You might not even know you have a kid. Hey, remember, this is
But they
alleged.
might not even tell you.
That's what I'm
Let
saying.
it
So
compound.
exactly. So let's say, forget about alleged. Let's say you did get a woman pregnant. She knows for sure it was you. You know for sure it was you, but you ain't know she got pregnant. Y'all had a good time. It was over. All right, baby. See you later. Things end. No problem. Days, you got to pick up your camera. We can barely see your face.
I know it's because of what I'm doing.
Oh, you got it. No problem. Minding my business.
Sir.
So you don't know. A year passes. No, excuse me. The child is now 1 year old. And you get a summons. You get a subpoena. You got to go to court. And now you have to pay a year plus 9 months of child support. And don't forget, you're also paying now. So you're paying starting today, and you owe us a year and 9 months.
Mm.
So let me get 21 months back pay plus whatever the fuck we say you gotta pay now. How do you know I have $10,000 to give y'all like that? What if I just don't have $22,000 sitting under my mattress? Now what happens?
You're putting a lot of people in debt. Easy.
So I'm just in the hole, whatever number y'all fucking decide? Because
Okay.
anybody who did anything in court knows them niggas don't give a fuck about you. Hey, listen, you owe 22,000, and if you don't make a payment by Friday, you're going to jail. Word? I just go to jail now? I ain't seen this woman in 22 months. Now I'm going to jail? Wow.
So it could have been a one night stand.
It could have been anything.
Yeah.
And so now pay how you weigh or you go away.
Bar.
That shit is fucked up. Y'all are welcome to chime in. That was just my last piece I wanted to say, because I think there's a lot of issues, leaving everything at a woman's discretion. I don't want to say a woman, at the woman's discretion. It just doesn't work like that. Deciding,
and
leaving everything in her hands. So you saying, forget about 3/5 of a man. I'm worth nothing. I'm only worth whatever bill y'all say I got to pay every month.
So I went looking up the bill itself just to see the wording in the actual bill, because I like to do that and not take the word of the article straight out.
Yep.
Um, and from the wording in the bill, it looks like it's not necessarily trying to change too much more beyond just adding that 9 months. So one part, yes, it's saying paternity can be tested at the discretion of the mother, which is a huge change and is crazy. But it is saying, like, if paternity can be determined pre-birth, then only, like, not at risk of the child.
Yeah, but
Because
how the fuck do
apparently
you
it
determine that
seems like
before a kid is born?
uh, no
You
idea,
just play
but
pin the
that's
tail on
what
the nigga.
that's part of what it's saying. So I think post birth, all regular rules apply. So however they handle retroactive pay in those situations, if retroactive uh, would be given, then it would include those 9 months. I don't think it's saying, oh, automatically retro, you got to pay all this. I think everything is still determined as it normally would be in court,
Okay.
and then they'll tack on the 9 months as well, if retroactive is something that's being awarded.
All right. I mean
So,
that.
like, the article, like, pushes it to, like, this is happening and this is the way it's gonna be, and it's not really doing that, because all of it is just is add-ons to whatever's already in place, and the big add-on is unborn child, and that's I think a bigger issue with it versus because I don't think it's really trying to force, hey, that's it, you got it, and that's it. um I mean, based on the wording of some of the stuff, it can be played that way still, but it's more add-ons to what's already there, and that's what their focus is adding on that unborn child uh, to behind child. So it's child and unborn child, or unborn child. They want to add into the to the wording of the laws that's there.
so can we say that they kind of took the responsibility out of the state's hand? Because like when a woman is pregnant, all of the like the visits and the the paternity, like you guys said, the prenatal care and all that, they would go to the hospital, do things through I assume the health, right, the health plan or whatever health care that they have. So the child support would factor in on that, correct?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
the
it would
idea is that
basically,
she would have the funds to do those things. Yeah.
right, right.
Okay. I was just trying
So
to
that's
understand.
the whole idea of it. Is, hey, now you got to pay for prenatal care. Is what it's trying to push, but with the wording, they're deciding to tack on unborn child into the wording of the law that's already in place.
WIC, all that. So WIC wouldn't even be a factor, or would that still be a factor?
I don't think it would.
Affect that?
However, it currently affects child support laws, those will still be in place. Their focus is that 9 months. It's hey, life begins at conception. So that's kind of their whole thing and their whole push.
All right. So I think I get it now. So now it ain't even about her giving birth and you signing the birth certificate.
Right. It's just whatever's in place is still there. They're not looking to change whatever's there, besides adding unborn child to the end of everything that says child. So it's child. Any statement within the law already that says child for child support, they want to tack on or unborn child
Gotcha.
onto it.
Yeah,
Uh,
but the fact that
Diction is important. Diction is very important. Semantics. Just
Well, yeah, the verbiage plays a big role because when it comes
Yeah.
time to appeal, when it comes time to challenge, that verbiage is what's called upon because they'll
Right.
quote, "Oh, line number 7 says, paragraph 4, line 3 says," and they will use that to support their
Yep.
arguments.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Dre?
Dre, anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Even with Nestor's updates.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't necessarily change anything I'm saying. You know, it still doesn't.
Yeah.
It still it still has a perspective that the woman isn't responsible for her decisions. You see what I'm saying? It's still
Yeah.
saying, well, you
Yeah.
know, women don't lie and they'll just be honest. And so whoever they deem to be the parent or the father is the father, and that's about it. If you're leaving it at her discretion, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's absolutely ridiculous, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, so as far as I'm concerned, wrong is wrong, you know. And to think that just because somebody has a vagina gives them some sort of moral aptitude is absolutely fucking nonsensical. Um, you know, your vagina doesn't give you a moral sense of anything. So, you know,
Right.
I mean, whatever, you know, and then there's no sense of like, hey, you have your body, you need to be completely in charge of it, and you know who is, you know, take measures so that you don't get pregnant. But if you do, you got to kind of know who the father is, you know, and if you don't, got to get on a journey and find out who it is. Period.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think it should be a group. You know, it should be a two-person thing. You know what I'm saying? It took two people to have that action. You know, that sexual action. So I think it should take two people to make that decision. I think that's part of the whole adult maturity thing. You know, somebody might come to you and say, "Hey, you know, I think I'm pregnant." You feel what I'm saying? And you like, okay. They might be like, I think it's you. You know. So then at that point, you could say, okay, you know, we both can go down here and you know do a paternity test and see if it's me or not. You know, I don't think that decision should be left up to one person. I think it should be, you know, two people. You know, I don't know. I always looked at things like that. You know, even when I was in that situation, like I was, I was with it. I'm like, all right, come on, let's go, let's check. It wasn't like that person was going to go and they was going to make the decision if we was going to be parents or not. It was, you know, it was a conversation between two individuals. Nobody wasn't forcing nobody to do nothing. You get what I'm saying? It was, you know, because you know, people really might not be ready for that in a variety of different ways. It don't even always got to be financial. Some people mentally not there. Some people, you know, their lifestyle might not reflect that. You get what I'm saying? I always, you know, look at people when they, you know, talk about like, you know, being parents and things like that. And sometimes you got to really say to somebody, I'm like, bro, you ain't really ready for that. Like, you
Right.
know what I mean? They might look at you crazy, but it's like, bro, like, I'm not saying this to offend you. I'm just saying this, you know, because I'm around you. I see how you move. I see how you think. Some of the things you engage in. You know, some people they really not ready for that.
We,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like in a variety of different ways.
yeah, and you know, that's the whole point of what I'm saying is that the laws need to reflect reality, not this like
Okay.
uh religious or Christian perspective. I think that's the whole problem with this. Because even if you feel like abortion is wrong or any of these things are wrong, I believe you got to give people the opportunity, the right to be wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not your fucking life. So who are you, government, to say they can't do this and they can't do that? Now, what you're saying, Days, is two mature people. Now, that'd be great. But what we know in society, a lot of people who are getting pregnant, having babies, aren't really all that mature. You know, now if you luck up to get with a mature person who can, you know, use some deductive reasoning, great for you. But there's plenty of scenarios where the people are not mature. And if they know that the law allows them to lie, and without any, repercussions, why not just lie?
Right.
No, I agree with you. I wasn't even going based on the people per se. I was with you on the law. Like, I'm not really a fan of anybody telling somebody what they can or cannot do when in life you got free will.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And now whatever you do with that, that's on you. But at the end of the day, you got free will. Now somebody telling you you can't do this because of what their beliefs are, nah. I ain't with that. We don't have the same beliefs. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Yep.
what you feel, and we ain't even talking about right or wrong. We talking about perspective, because their right or wrong is subjective as
Right.
well. You get what I'm saying? Like, for real. Like you said, it's based on Christian beliefs, right? Somebody said that
Yeah,
it's
that's what
based
I
on
said.
religion. So yeah, that like I said earlier, that makes it one sided.
Very much so.
Right.
Because with religion comes fervor, and it's hard to really direct somebody away from that fervor, because they believe that strongly about it. There's nothing you can do to pierce it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.